Hi, I'm Scott Jensen, former Assembly Speaker.
And I'm Chuck Chvala, former Senate Majority Leader.
And we're the Insiders. This week, we're taking a look at an issue that many people think will be a major issue in the 2022 elections, and that's the subject of abortion. Chuck, I know that you're one of the folks who thinks this issue will play heavily in the 2022 elections.
Well, first of all, you have the Wisconsin legislature, the Republican legislature, trying to adopt some of the extreme abortion measures that have been adopted around the country. But frankly, things that don't pass in the legislature, frankly, don't have a big impact on what happens in the election. The place where this is going to become an issue, and it will be a huge issue. In fact, I think it could be the defining issue next year. And that is depending upon what the US Supreme Court does. We now have a woman from Notre Dame, Amy Coney Barrett, and a very conservative Supreme Court. Many people have talked for a long time about the Republican conservative Supreme Court at the US level, at the United States Supreme Court level, overturning Roe versus Wade. If they do that, I would predict right now that there will actually be a very strong year for Democrats because women will be out in huge force to do that. Now, this is a situation where did the dog just catch the car? Republicans have been talking about this for years, but politically they've been very savvy. Even the pro-life movement has made sure that they nibbled around the edges. Oh my gosh, these late-term abortions. Oh my goodness, we shouldn't be able to do this for the sex of the baby, et cetera, et cetera. To outlaw Roe versus Wade and make abortion legal in most states in the country, and by the way, in Wisconsin, including Wisconsin, that is something that will drive women to the polls in huge numbers, and Republicans will lose. However, I think that the US Supreme Court will be savvy, as pro-life people have been in the past in the both the legislative and the court process. You'll notice that they're taking that savvy approach already by quietly on their literally called their shadow docket, approving a Texas law, which basically says you can't get an abortion after 6 weeks, which means no abortion is available. A woman doesn't even know if she's pregnant. This is the way that they will approach it, I expect. But when they do this next year, they have a case in front of them that will give them the opportunity to overturn Roe versus Wade. But they may just decide to ratify Texas and other extreme abortion laws. I still think that the public is savvy enough that if that happens, and I believe it will happen, I don't believe overturning Roe versus Wade will happen, but I believe severe restrictions will be allowed. If that happens, I believe that you'll see this being a huge issue in the fall election. The decision will probably come from the court in May or June. And when it does, Katie, bar the door. I think this will have a dramatic effect on the election.
Well, the Democrats keep looking for an issue to forestall the impending doom of the 2022 elections. We've been hearing for months now it's going to be January 6th, or it's going to be Donald Trump himself, and they're trying to put Donald Trump effectively on the ballot to run against him, and it's not working for him in special elections and other elections all around the country. And now there's going to be a decision coming from the United States Supreme Court, and that's the trick. That's the thing that's going to do it for us. Chuck, you called the bills here in the Wisconsin legislature extreme. I would beg to differ on that. I think the polling would also beg to differ with regards to that. The polling shows that the public supports legislation that says that if a woman goes in for an abortion and the child actually survives the procedure, the doctor has to provide it life-sustaining support. They can't just let the baby sit to the side and die. That a woman shouldn't be able to use abortion as a way to choose the sex of her child, or that taxpayer money shouldn't be going to abortion clinics. Those are the bills they're voting on in the legislature. And those are the bills that Tony Evers is going to veto. Vetoing those bills is what is out of the mainstream, because those three provisions I just talked about are supported by a majority of people in Wisconsin and around the country. Tony Evers is the one who is supporting the out of the mainstream position, and the Democratic Party just keeps trending further and further to the left on this abortion issue, and they don't quite recognize how far they have moved away from the mainstream. I'll agree that Republicans have been aggressive on their side, but here in Wisconsin, all the provisions that they're putting on Tony Evers' desk are items that most people would agree with.
the people who are one issue voters on the bill, on the issues that Scott talks about, they're already lost to Democrats. They have been for a long time. But that's not what's going to drive this. What's going to drive this is the US Supreme Court decision. The problem is Republicans have for years wanted absolute control of the US Supreme Court. They now have that. They have a supermajority on that court, and that court is going to give them what, it's the old story of be careful what you wish for and then you get it. If the US Supreme Court does what I expect they will do, or even worse from the Republican political standpoint, actually outlaw or reverses Roe versus Wade, you will be amazed what will happen in the fall. There are certain things that go beyond just regular political feelings. This is one. Talk to a few women, talk to younger women. Over the course of my life, I've been surprised. I don't really talk to that many women. I've been surprised at how many I found out have gone through really difficult experiences or have had their a good friend go through a difficult experience in this area. Do not underestimate the power of this issue and how women will feel about it next year. And if the Republicans do ignore it, and frankly, I don't think it's within the control of the party anymore, unless the party actually talks directly to the US Supreme Court. I think this train has left the station. And it's only the decision next year which is going to make the decision. And I think if the decision is made the wrong way, Republicans are going to be brought up short and amazingly surprised at the consequences of this action. And by the way, if you think that's not likely to be a powerful issue, look at how right to life Republicans across Wisconsin and other states which are close have handled the abortion issue. They have not taken it on directly. Now that they are in Texas and elsewhere, they are moving to the extreme, and women will not tolerate it, nor should they.
Well, we're going to see, because the elections are coming up. I'm going to bet, though, that the economy, as it usually is going to be the top issue for most voters in the 2022 elections.
I sure hope so. We'll see you next time.